So there are two things that we have going on a lot. We have attendance and we have grading. And the grading is when you're not in class. So by the way, if you're new to the class, a bunch of you are new, if you're in section 2, the smart thing to do is just come to class. Even though it says web class, just come to class. That's how you're going to get your attendance points. If you don't come to class, you have to write a class attendance video. You have to record 3 class attendance video assignments, and then you upload them, okay? And that's the grading team reads those and gives you the points. So Dela's in charge of the grading team, and Dela's in charge of attendance. Dela. And do you know where she's from? Bro, do you know where she's from? Bro. Do you know where that flag's from? Come on, man. You know where the flag's from?
The Iranian flag.
Dude, this guy, you're 18 years old. Like, all right. He knows everything. All right. Can you, I don't know, say something in Persian, by the way, in Farsi. Wait, first off, is your grandmother watching?
My grandma loves Sam, so she actually loves him more than Sam.
Yeah, but she's going to criticize you because your arms are showing?
Yeah, my grandma isn't the very best and open-minded. She's not like respectfully to all the Arabs here, she's not like one of those people that like wears a very strong type of a job. I don't know what's called, but
Was she in Tehran?
yes, she is in Tehran, which is capital of Iran, and she's not very open-minded about me like having a open chest. So
can I borrow your sweatshirt?
Yeah.
Oh, now you have it. Now you okay? Here, okay. Grandma. Hey, grandma. Can you translate this?
Okay.
Grandma. I'm all good now.
بزرگ الان درست شدیم.
All right.
الان همه چی خوبه.
All right. So, what do they need to know about attendance?
Oh, okay. What you need to know about attendance is that if you want to leave the class, there's a sheet upstairs and you have to come sign out or whatever you want to call it. And you have to put your name, you have to put the time, so we will make sure that you're going to actually come back and you're not going to get the code from your friends or whatever you want to call it. And also, please be nice. Please be nice. We have like new TAs and the ones that don't know about how rude some of you guys could be. And other than that, if you leave the class and in general you don't come to class, we have class reflections, and there are 3 of them that you have to do every time that you don't come to class. So if you miss today, you have to do 3 videos. And
it's easier coming.
What?
It's just easier to come.
Yeah, it's very, very easier to come because believe me, you don't want to record 3 videos and each one of them 3 minutes or
It's
more.
not too much work. It's just that, you got to do it. So it's just easier to come. But listen, why do we have people sign in and sign out?
Okay, the reason why we don't want you guys to sign in to sign out is...
No, we want them to sign in.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my bad. We want you guys to sign in and sign out is because we don't want you guys to miss the material.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and at the end of like the semester, you have to like go through all the things for the exam. You really don't want that because it could be a lot sometimes.
Yeah, but you don't need to know anything from class for the exams. Remember that. But here's the thing. You know what will happen? It happens all the time, right? Someone will come, they'll take the first attendance quiz, and then they'll like they'll sneak out. So they get your 1.5 points, but you're like, oh, I can't stay the whole class, but at least I'll go for the first 7 minutes. I'll get my 1.5 points, and then I'll sneak out. It's like...
Yeah, because if you even want to sneak out, we will see you and we will get your name.
And then they'll ask you for your name because you're cheating. And Dela and the attendance team will say, hey, come on, you got to sign in. And you'll be like, oh, F you. Like, da-da-da-da-da. They literally say, dude, was it last year that I got called up to the top? There was like a big confrontation because someone was trying to leave. Like, no, I have to go because I have to go see my father. Well, why'd you take the attendance quiz and leave? That's like cheating on the exam. That's like looking at the exam next to you. That's so mean. It's so mean. And how would you be mean to her? Grandma.
Yeah, don't be mean to me.
Her grandma will be pissed. And she's in Iran, so, like.
Yeah, very, very lovely country, as many of you guys probably know. Anyways, even if you leave the class, as Sam said, we'll like literally see you, and that will be way worse than you can imagine.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Anyways,
you
you'll
why?
get
'Cause
caught.
it's bad karma. Because you're going to end up, it's just bad karma, man. Don't do that. Gosh, oh my God. All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Please don't do whatever
Dela.
you think you want to do.
No, do all the good things.
Oh, do the good things. Don't do the bad thing.
Hey, thanks for letting her use your sweatshirt. All right. Okay, today's class, we're calling it Fahrenheit 119. Did anyone ever read Fahrenheit 451? You know what that means, right? That's the temperature at which paper is combustible. So Fahrenheit 119 and Fahrenheit 451 was a book about ideas that were really dangerous to the authoritarian society at the time. That's where that came from. Just the society at the time. It doesn't matter if it's authoritarian or whatever. But okay, so can we go to the next slide? I want to show you a couple of things. So the other day, on day one, we did somebody did a TikTok. Was that you? TikTok video, and it kind of took off, right? And so I don't normally look at things, but former student of mine sent it to me, and I looked at it, and I was like, ha, 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 and I wanted to see what people wrote. So I looked at a couple of people. So one person wrote, this Woody, who's clearly not in the class, this explains a lot about the state of our education system today, though PSU is at the bottom end. This is the sewer in here, y'all, right? I'm dragging you through it. Woody. And Kay Manny says, he is a very opinionated professor if you don't align with him. Now, I don't know. So one of the things I want to tell you is with social media and things, it's like the reason I don't read comments I rarely ever read comments about the class or about me, because you get stuff like that. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I could be less opinionated. I don't know how I could be less opinionated than more opinionated. Like, I really don't know. I mean, I'm borderline mentally ill in the first place, so my thoughts are everywhere. But, I don't know how I could be less opinionated. You know what I mean? Oh my God. But you have to read stuff like that. So it's, don't read social media stuff about yourself. Anyway, next slide. So Evelyn in class, wherever you are, Evelyn, said, I was there in this class is insane so far, okay? Which is okay, that's a typical comment you would put on a TikTok video, right? And then Emmy, less than 3, it says, and the MAGA topic on Thursday, he's so unfiltered. And I was thinking, whoa, okay, I am a little bit, it sounds like I'm unfiltered, but I'm not really unfiltered. I'm just able to talk about things more openly than a lot of people. I'm not afraid. I just had a 2-hour conversation with people at one of our local prisons. I teach a class there. And afterwards, the one guy said, the incarcerated student who's in my class said, man, I just like how you take these really high intensity topics that are very sensitive to so many people, and people disagree and they argue, and you just approach them without fear, and you have fun. You make learning fun in this way. And it's a very, it's a very mixed class. It's a really interesting group of people. Really smart, by the way. if if I had a room this size filled with people like them who were really, really smart, thoughtful, I'd be like, man, teaching would be so much. You all are great. I love you, dude. Don't take that personally, but these guys are really smart. Okay, anyway, so I was thinking, Unfiltered, I was thinking, what can I not say in here? Because I feel like I can talk about anything at all. We should be able to talk about anything at all. I can talk about anything, man. Doesn't matter. There's nothing you want. I did a class, several classes in here, my wife and I did, about our sex lives. So it's like, and we got into details, man. You know what I mean? So, well, she did. I just sat back and went, damn, all right. So we'll talk about anything, whatever. If we can talk about our sex lives, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. All right? So, wait, hang on. We didn't just talk about our sex lives. It had a purpose to it. It was about, there was a reason we talked about it. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Emily. The second comment, I think it was misinterpreted. I meant it in like a good way. Like, I'm unfiltered too, that's why I'm here. I didn't mean it in like a bad way.
No, I didn't think it was a bad way. No. Oh, God, I'm so sorry.
No,
I didn't think you meant it in a bad way. No, I think you meant it in a positive way.
I meant it as in like a good way. Like,
no,
you're saying
good.
Stuff that a lot of people don't talk about, and I'm appreciating that. Like.
No, I got you. No, I felt like you meant it in a positive way. But what it led me to say was, do I need some filters?
No, you don't. That's why
I don't
the
know.
class.
So I want to have a conversation about that today, because I have a feeling maybe we do. So, Brooke, so we have one volunteer already, and I sent that email out saying what we were going to talk about. So do we have a couple more people who would come up and, hang on, we got one white guy already. Hang on, bro. Now we can't be just white men. We already got our one white man. We need some. We have a woman. Nah, dude, hang on. We can't have so many white guys. I don't, nothing against white guys. I love white guys. Do you want to? Okay, we need somebody else who's not. You want to? Okay, yep. Okay, perfect. All right. Hey, by the way, you all, right after class, you're going to see Izzy. Right after class, the three of you are going to see Izzy, and you're going to fill out the form for, like, when you come up here, when you volunteer, when you apply to volunteer, you sign off on the footage, and basically we're not making. Do not think we're getting rich off this footage. Dude, you don't make very much money on YouTube videos. When you get like 5,000 views on a video, you make like 37 cents, okay? The people that make millions of dollars on videos, that's because they have millions and millions and millions of views on every single video, and there are very few YouTubers who can sustain making a really good salary, even like $5,000 a month. It takes so much. And we have to pay for all of this. Penn State doesn't just say like, hey, whatever, here it is. Like, you gotta, so anyway, the point is you sign off. If anybody is ever volunteering and after class you say to yourself, you know what? Like we had a guy volunteer last year, and this guy was talking about his hometown and some people in his hometown. He didn't name names or anything, but afterwards, the next day he emailed us and he's like, you know what, man? I shouldn't have said that about my hometown, because it wasn't bad, but he's just like, could you just pull that little thing out? And so we took it out of the video. It was fine. Okay? So there may be something that you later say like, yeah, I kind of would rather not have that in the video. Then we'll pull it out. It's not a problem, okay? We rarely ever have that, though, because I make sure that it's all good, all right? So sometimes we're going to do like this, where we just pull out volunteers in class. All right, man, we're going to start with Gavin right here.
Oh, boy.
Well, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Gavin Fittis. I'm a freshman here at Penn State University.
Who knew what the Persian flag was? The Iranian flag.
Yes.
All right. Do you know what language they speak in Iran?
Persian.
You know what else it's called?
Iranian? I'm not certain.
Oh, damn. All right. Do you know?
I'm Ava. I'm also a freshman studying criminology.
Oh my God, freshman. All right. Don't say you're. Are you a freshman also? All right. Okay. Or freshwoman? Do you say? Have we started saying that? No, that's not a joke. Actually, I
can
always
start
struggle
it.
with freshmen. Have you guys started to say first year student instead of freshman?
No, but I mean, maybe we should.
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird.
It is kind of weird. I mean, freshman's just a lot more, smooth. But I'm a sophomore, and my name's Dela, and I study criminology as well.
Whoa. All right. So you're criminology, and you all are young. So you're 18?
Yeah.
18? Yeah. And 19? All right. So listen. First off, you understand? So what happens sometimes is people who watch the videos, everybody thinks we all look. By the way, how old do you think I am? Go ahead. Don't be weird about it. It's all right. Doesn't matter.
64.
Oh, come on. We know he's not 50.
22.
No, come on. Seriously. In this case, white does crack. All right, so.
I feel like you said it before.
Do you know?
64?
Yeah, I'm 64. Tomorrow I turn 65. Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, happy birthday.
That means, yeah. So, yeah, check that out. so like, today, I'm not high risk to get COVID, so I don't have to think about getting a vaccine today. But tomorrow, I become high risk. Yeah. It's like, shit, I'm gonna get COVID and die. Man. It's weird. All right. Okay. So, what I was saying was that a lot of people, as you grow, as you age, as you mature, we often look back at our young lives and we think we're a lot smarter than we were. And I would never have said that or thought like that or whatever. So sometimes old people like me, older people, they watch the stream because they want to hear what you all are thinking. But sometimes they'll be, oh God, I never would have said that. It's like I gotta always remind people, listen, man, you were 18 years old once or whatever. All right, so let's go with you can blacken the screen, by the way. What do you got? Who wants to go?
I suppose I will.
All right, let's go.
We just, you want to introduce the topic, or?
Yeah, so the topic is, what should I not say in here? Like, where do I need to actually put a few filters on? Because, I don't know.
So, the purpose of these discussions are, in my view, to figure out what things are good, bad, what should be supported. And my main concern with discussions like these are that they can be used to purely just bring up opinions that are just plainly not good, but if they're repeated a lot and brought up a lot, then they can seem mainstream, and it can be latched onto as an actual idea of thought.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay. Do you have an example? Because I have lots of examples, but I have one in particular.
If you'd like to go first, please.
No, you go.
I don't have any good examples right now off the top of my head. I'm
Okay.
a little tired.
Do one of you have an example of that? I have one. Oh, the example is this. Say it again, because this is a really cool idea.
That the good faith discussions like these can be used as a platform in order to posit opinions that simply are bad, like
or wrong.
or wrong.
I got a perfect one.
With the this purpose of discussion as a medium to discuss what is good and what is bad. Some people may bring up topics that are purely used to posit an opinion that is wrong or bad.
Or harmful to
Or
somebody.
harmful, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like some examples of these, I mean...
No, I'm going to give a really good example.
Okay, no, you go ahead.
Bella, do you have one?
One example I would say is probably politics is the biggest one. I feel like a lot of people use politics as a segue to kind of just insult people. Politics is something that everyone has their own opinions on, and that's something that we have to, you know, respect. But when people start to bring in, I guess, viewpoints and opinions that are just downright, like, hurtful to other people just to kind of prove that, like, they're right in their thinking and that their side of politics is the only right side, I think that's where a lot of conversations start to get heated because everyone's so... they just want to prove their point right and they don't want to hear anyone out, so they just start attacking character instead of bringing up facts.
Okay, listen, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know what snowflake is?
Yes.
Would you consider yourself a snowflake?
I mean, no, but I feel like some people would consider me as a snowflake, yeah?
Just by nature of the fact that you just said what you said.
Correct.
Okay, so here, I'm going to give, but are you saying that, or here, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give the three of you a really good example. So, immigrants, undocumented immigrants. So the United States is not the only nation in the world that has undocumented immigrants. Everybody does. People cross over borders and they find ways to sneak in or get into other countries in some nefarious way. They overstay visas, they do all sorts of things, and they decide, hey, I'm going to stay there. So this is not just a U.S. thing, okay? Iran right now, Dela, if you study, Iran's dealing with undocumented immigration. Lots of Afghans, lots of Pakistanis, lots of Syrians. Like, they're really struggling to decide what are we going to do with all these people who are undocumented here, right? So they're in the same position, okay? When we, Dylan, when our leadership starts talking about undocumented immigrants in the United States who are violent and committing crimes and committing all the crimes and committing so much violence and committing all of these things, the dangerous undocumented immigrants, and they use that in that way, it's like you're amping up the rhetoric in ways that are really not just problematic, but first off, that are problematic, but are also mean and are also wrong. Undocumented immigrants everywhere in the world have the lowest crime rates. And that doesn't take a rocket scientist or a brain surgeon to figure out. If you're undocumented, you want to hide. Man, you don't want any connection to law, to the law enforcement, to the authorities, to like nothing. And across the board in the United States, undocumented immigrants have the lowest crime rates of people in this country, okay? Now, just because you see the headline of the news about this guy that murders a young college student down in South Carolina or North Carolina or Virginia, wherever it was, which is horrific and terrible. It's like, oh my God. But we're not interested in this class in singular examples. This is a sociology class. We're interested in the trends. So that would be a perfect example of just wrong information that's, who's it problematic for?
Say again?
What's that? Who is it problematic for? Like, when people put that narrative out there.
Who is it problematic for?
Why? How is it problematic?
It's problematic for the people that are affected, the illegal immigrants that are, through this use of radicalization of the populace, are thrust out from their communities, their children, and also the communities that they were in, which they may have been an integral part of in many ways.
Hey, wait, hang on. That's a leftist. That's like a leftist liberal response to that question. All right. So all right. You would give the same one. Give me another reason why it's problematic.
I was just going to say it's...
Wait, hang on. Hang on. Because the people who don't think that's a problem. They didn't even listen to Gavin. They're just like, dude, you're just this radical leftist. We don't give a damn what you say. Speak to them. Give them something that...
Okay, here's my thing with illegal immigration and everything. No one that I guess is for, I'm not even gonna say for illegal immigration, is denouncing the fact that they came here illegally. It's never an argument that, yeah, they didn't come here legally. It's the fact that maybe they can't. They are in certain situations, and I'm never saying that, you know, it's easy to come into the US. It's very hard for a lot of people, especially people that are native, don't speak English, everything like that. But I think it's very problematic just for people that want to come to the US in general, legally, illegally, because of the way that they see that we treat people. And you know, when you have like ASMR videos about people getting deported and everything, it doesn't make the US seem like it's very welcoming with open arms, because if you don't come here or you're not already here, then, you know, to hell with you.
Okay, all right. Okay, so that's a fair one. Let me give you, I'm going to give you, do you have a reason? Wait, hang on, do you have a reason?
Yeah, can I add something to that?
Yeah.
Almost completely segueing from what you were saying, I think when we're talking about something like this, it often portrays a light on a large society or maybe caste or section, which kind of puts them into a stereotype, which might not, well, that's ironic, which might not be true for the entire society, but which might be true for certain individuals. But because those individuals have been sort of have been shined a light on, or they've been come into light, the majority seems to think that that entire sector, that entire part of society is exactly like them.
Okay. Yep, I got you. Yep. Here's another, and the fact is, you know, you've got the Pew Research, they just estimated that right now we have 13 to 14 million undocumented people in the U.S., which has not changed very much since I was studying it 40 years ago. But the other side is, you can't fix the problem if you don't understand who the people are. So this is what I mean about, you like do the left thing, like, oh, these are human beings, and we should treat them better. People don't care. A lot of people don't give a damn about that. They're here illegally, man. Like, that's it. Get out. But what I would say is, you're not going to fix the problem when you're just like throwing out all this information that's wrong, and everybody starts chasing the problem over here when in fact you're missing it. That's not what's going on here. These aren't the people who are committing all the crimes. These aren't the people who you imagine they are. So you're going to have to go back and reevaluate and figure out how we're going to solve this. That's a way to speak to people who are all about law and order.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Okay, another thing. What's another third rail? What's something else in this class we shouldn't talk about?
I came here like unprepared, as like
for this one.
What'd you say? Yeah, but it's not something that we shouldn't talk about. But I feel like when we are talking about something, we should look through all viewpoints, because I know like with the MAGA thing, it was like all liberals, and so I'm like, I would have liked for like a conservative to come up here and say their viewpoint, because I feel like the one guy said that they were just being like attacked and like maybe like a false narrative almost.
Yeah.
So we don't want to like false narrative them, if you know what I'm saying.
Them. Them? Who are them? The MAGA person?
Yeah, the MAGA people, yeah.
You know who you are. Listen, I got that. Although I thought Alex, wait, it was Alex, right? Wait, dude, who sat here? Where are you? Is it Alex? Is that you? Alex, right? I thought he did a really nice job. He's not really one or the other, but I thought he did a really nice job holding down that conversation. But I hear you. Okay, so you think that what we need to do is, it's not, I need to make sure that lots of different viewpoints are on the table. That's hard, that's difficult to do, by the way. You do. Yeah, but I hear you. I try to do that. Well, that's why, for example, with Allie, remember Allie? Remember? And I thought I did a pretty killer job with this when she said something about whatever, and I'm like, no, that people get hurt with MAGA policies. And I'm like, dude, people get hurt with Obama policies, man. You know what I mean? With Biden policies. Everybody gets hurt with policies. Somebody's going to get hurt. So I agree with you. And yet, dude, can you just pat me on the back, right? I think I did a pretty good job on that one.
Yeah.
Holding that down. So you would agree with that?
I do agree.
No, go ahead. No.
No.
No, yeah, okay, you agree. But I hear what you were saying. What's the problem with what you were saying? For me, if you're me, what's the problem with what you were saying? Like you would say, like, yeah, okay, that's a really good idea, but.
That's a good idea, but it's hard to get those people to volunteer.
Yeah. It's really difficult, by the way. The reason I just pulled away like that's because our producer told me to get away from you all because the microphones are, yeah, because it's difficult to do that. Yeah, like, for example, the 3 of you volunteered. 2 of you are 18 and 1 is 19. You know, you're really young, which is important because, you know, you're this new generation coming up, but you don't have a lot of experience. So, like, here we are. We're going to run this thing without a lot of experience. So it's like, oh, okay, here we go. But yeah, that's awesome. I really appreciate you gave a great example. Yeah.
I think a main part and why it's hard to get, you know, a whole bunch of different viewpoints is because of what I was saying before, is that everyone's so stuck on proving their own point that a lot of people can feel not like bullied, but just kind of like, well, what's the point in saying what I'm going to say if I'm going to get backlash from it? Like, as someone was saying last class, when you asked around, like, who's a MAGA supporter, and no one raised their hand, but then someone asked, like, who's a liberal, and like a whole bunch of people raised their hand. It's like the backlash that you feel like you're going to get just because you have a different viewpoint. And I feel like that's what this class is about, which is why I don't really think there's any topics that we can't talk about, because we should all be able to just converse about whatever at any time without having to feel like, oh, these people are going to hate me, or I'm going to get this posted about me, or this, and that.
Yeah, that's why. Okay, I want to respond to something really fast. Can you put me on yellow? Yeah. Niche. I want to respond to people on the stream. That was when I asked, what's that? Which one? This one? Blue? Blue. Is this blue? No. Which? That's blue? This is yellow? All right, Mom. The problem is that it was on the second day of class, and I just very quickly said, are there any MAGA supporters? There were plenty of people in here who, in retrospect, would raise their hand and be like, yeah, I'll talk, whatever, I'll come down and talk. If I said we need a MAGA supporter to come down, people will come down. But, you know, it happened really fast. So don't think that every conservative person in this classroom is afraid to speak, because they're not. I know that because I've been teaching this for so many decades. I know they're not. And so, but I do know that on average, in many other classes, in many places, people have felt attacked, people on the right. And so people would silence a little bit. But pretty quickly you figure out in here, I'm not going to do that. And by the way, if you are on the left or the right and you feel silenced by me, that's way more about you than it is about me, man. Like, I'm not, Dan, there's nothing. Okay, go ahead. Do we have another example of what I can't talk about?
I kind of want to go back to that last thing of people being ashamed of ashamed and not bringing points up, and
Or-
should we?
No,
and-
not ashamed, afraid. Afraid
Afraid.
that somehow it will work against them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
At some point, some viewpoints are wrong. That was the point of my argument, that
Yeah.
in just a discuss this, there are some viewpoints that are just going to be wrong, and it's not necessarily wrong that we discuss them, but I feel it's important to make sure that what's wrong and right is defined, and in just a there's no wrong answers discussion, that can't happen.
Yeah, but okay, so what do you do about this? Who's going to make that decision, right? Because what I would say is mostly the far left, the really liberal points that people make are more likely to be wrong, and the really conservative far right points that people make are more likely to be wrong. That mostly, if you want to get to wisdom and that kind of stuff, you got to kind of have elements of all these things. So it's like, but who's going to decide that, man?
I don't know.
Okay, but you're working that. As an 18-year-old college student who's just starting college, this is something that you're working through. All right? Hey, by the way, so you get that. If you're watching on the stream, it's like he's working through that. It's 18. That's good that you're working through that. You should be thinking about that. Okay. Does someone want to comment on that? Like, how do we, bro? Can you? The guy and the.
He was first.
Yeah. All right.
Hi, my name is Aiden. I think,
Dan, can you stand, by the way?
yeah, sorry. I think I get what you're saying, because there's a lot of like popular media like Jubilee and stuff that have provided bases for very, like he's very far right, far left values. But I think an important point to consider is, even if we can say they're objectively wrong, I think it's important to understand why they can't, like, even if we just said, someone came up here and they're like, every single person here is a horrible person, and we're like, okay, that's wrong. It's important to understand how they came to that like point.
Yeah,
like, what is
yeah,
the
yeah.
background?
Yeah.
And so if we set this basis of,
Yep.
like, we want diverse opinions, but we want diverse opinions that are limited to not too far one way or the other, because they're maybe wrong, and they may be legitimately wrong. We isolate them even further, which alienates them even further, which makes their opinions even stronger and more negative and more hateful, which is just, it's a vicious cycle. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Dude, very cool. I like that. And and I think that there are a lot of far right ideas that I think are really good and quite correct, and far left ideas that I think are really good and quite correct. Okay? So I'm not saying there aren't. But what I've found in my 64, that's right, not 65, my 64 years, is that, yeah, for the most part, wisdom, the best ideas, are somewhere floating around in the center. Yeah. And what we want to figure out how people got to them. But unfortunately, what happens with this class, you all should know, is that we don't have a lot of time to do that. You know what I mean? We have still, in order for you to stay engaged and not pick up your phones and watch football games from Europe or whatever, whoever's playing right now, you know what I mean, bro, right? Manchester United, are they playing today? And you're like trying to like get your phone out and see how it's going. In order to do that, we have to be a little bit entertaining and keep moving along. All right, bro, go ahead, man.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Raul. I'm the guy that made the question about raising the hands, and I just wanted to say that it was a little bit biased, because you did say who's a MAGA supporter, and I said who's center to left, so I didn't mean to make your class seem like an open, but I do think that in college it's a little harder to express yourself if you're a conservative person.
If you're a more conservative person?
More conservative in college.
Yeah,
setting.
what makes it difficult? Is it the students, the professors?
I feel like academia is just more liberal.
It's
in
more
general,
liberal?
Like at the setting of academia.
Wait, you mean like the business school, or you mean like sociology?
The more vocal and media oriented, then usually the more liberal it is, because
Yeah.
at least in colleges.
Why do you think universities tend to be a little more liberal?
I don't know.
Dude, does one of you want to throw that out there? Wait.
Oh, well, because
No, go ahead.
research funding and things like that, which are more liberal based, which is like, for example, Trump just cut an enormous funding in medicine and mRNA vaccines, so that probably makes.
Does somebody, all right, hang on. I want to ask this question. For Jaden, can you try to answer that question? Why is it, do you think, that college students in general and universities on average will be a little bit more liberal, whatever that means?
Well, I think that like the perception that like college is super liberal is like somewhat misled, right? Like I think that I don't think like many of my professors have ever expressed like particularly liberal opinions. Like honestly, if I've ever heard a professor say anything positive about a politician, it was Donald Trump. Like I don't know that.
You mean they've said positive?
Yes.
Professors are more likely to say something positive about Trump.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if that's like a biased sample set. I think probably most of my professors are pretty liberal. I also think that like to go into like academia, like the kind of person that would pick that as a career path would be more likely to be progressive, like that they value education and knowledge and sharing that with other people, which tend to be values more associated with progressives than conservatives.
Okay, all right. So I have a thought here. I'm just going to jump in on this thought, okay? When you're young, you have a lot of hope. Like little kids. Little kids are not, unless they're abused, they're not jaded. Little kids, man, take them out to the park and they stop and they pick up a muddy stone and they're like, whoa, look at this muddy stone. And the parents are like, oh, don't pick that up, it's dirty. And they pick up a stick and they're like, look at this cool stick. And the parents are like, oh my God, a stick, watch out, you're gonna poke your eye out. All that kind of stuff, right? Kids aren't jaded. Kids are like, oh, life. And then you sort of start coming of age and you find out, man, there's a lot of hungry people in the world. There's a lot of wars going on. There's a lot of just problems in the world. We should fix those. Come on, man. We should be better than this. Why don't we fix those? We have hungry, like if a little kid sees someone who's hungry, the little kid's eating an apple, it's a homeless person, the little kid is far more likely to give the homeless person their apple than the parent. Because like little kids are just like, hey, you share your apples. Like, come on, we share, like do that, okay? I have the idea that when you sort of go through high school and you get out of high school and you start learning about problems in the world, the tendency is what you're going to want to do is like, let's fix these. Come on, let's fix them. Like, let's go. And you believe that all these problems are fixable. And then you're drawn more toward a more liberal type narrative, which is like, hey, let's intervene and stop the wars, and let's send food to hungry people, and let's do this, and let's stop poverty. The person doesn't have a job. They need jobs. Let's build houses. We have too many homeless people. Let's build houses. And when you're younger, you're more likely to lean in that direction of like, let's fix the problem. And then as you get older, you start realizing, oh, damn, man, these problems are really complicated. I don't know if we're going to be able to fix this. And that's a little bit different. And that's not saying that some people, even from a very young age, are like, yeah, but they get introduced to ideas that are, you know what, man, the way to fix these problems actually are don't build houses for people. No. What you want to do is you want to set up a system where people learn to, and indeed are forced to, figure out how to build a house on their own. A more, what we would identify as a classically conservative idea. Don't step in and help. Man, people got to do it themselves. Or the military. Most of what militaries do in the world is peacekeeping and various development assistance. It's not killing people and battling people. So if you're in the military, what you learn is you probably never go to war. You're probably never going to shoot your gun and harm another human being. But what you will almost certainly do is go someplace, keep peace, build schools, build this, do that, do whatever, you're going to do that. And so, you learn these things. Anyway, that's my take on it. That's what I think. So it's natural that college students would be like, yeah, we can fix this. Come on, let's go, guys. We can fix it. Like Penn State, we can win a football game.
Just adding on to what you were just saying, I think it's a very different scenario when you're by yourself or when you're in a small group of your close friends versus when you're in a public domain. Because when you're like out in society or when you're in a public domain, people often tend to put on a facade or they portray themselves in a certain scenario for whatever reasons they would
Yeah,
want
I
to.
hear that. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
So
I hear that.
It's a bit different when we speak about that.
Yeah, no, it's also different in here, but y'all, like, I don't know. There's also truth, and then there's what's really going on, and then there's the perception of what's going on. So if you have the perception that college students are all liberal, they're all radical, woke liberals, it's like, just sit through this class, and when you're going to listen to your like, Eva, for example, said, look, we got to make sure that we have lots of different viewpoints up here. She didn't say we have to have the liberal viewpoints and like make sure the conservatives don't get to talk. She's like, no, man, we need to have the MAGA people. I want to hear right from MAGA people. That's what she said. So if you have this idea that these three people and any three people are all radical leftists, you're wrong. You are absolutely wrong, and it's going to shape in an unfortunate way what you understand about this generation, right? Wait, I just said you're wrong. Like, is that all right? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah,
If
that's
you
fine.
think that, you're wrong. Bro, would that be an example of like, I said, if you think you're all liberal, you're wrong. I should say that, right? Because it's not true.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, bro.
Hey, so my name is Dennis, and one of the topics that
Wait, Dennis, can you stand up real fast?
One of the topics I want to bring up is just what you were saying about the military and what nations usually do. I'm sure the National Guardsmen of Illinois would love and are itching to go into Chicago and fix up their city. But due to the fact that local elected officials, say like the governor and the mayor, are refusing Donald Trump's order
Hold the mic closer.
to go in,
Yeah.
they want to push against it because it's Trump.
Yeah, it's politics.
Yeah, it's politics. So on both sides, the liberals and the conservatives want to have their view and be right
Yeah.
at the detriment of the people that they serve.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And it's not getting to the more interesting stuff, which is like really the stuff it's far more complicated, man. Yeah. All right, Bella.
I think a huge part about the right and wrong is that we all have different definitions of what we think is right and wrong.
Yep.
I think a lot of things that deal with politics and what we believe is how high we put it on like a morality scale. Like some people may value like the lives of others more than like the betterment of our country. And that's just that. Like some people may think that giving all our money here is the right thing to do, and that if you want to give it somewhere else, that's the wrong thing to do because you morally believe that that's where the money should go. So I think it's hard to say that we can't have right and wrong conversations because we don't have the same viewpoints on what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah, like everybody's willing to pay taxes.
Right.
They just want to spend their tax dollars on things they want to spend it on. Yeah.
I think what makes up people's definitions of right and wrong is like context and their backgrounds. Like, for example, like everyone in my mom's side, my dad's side, they're all liberal Christians. So, like, obviously there's exceptions. I could be conservative, but I am a liberal Christian. And so, like, if you're a conservative, you lived in the South. That's all you grow up around. That's all.
And like if you're a conservative Christian living in the South, for example, like you grow up in that,
so it's like a very rare chance that you're gonna be a Democrat in that society.
or
so.
be a Republican in that side. Yeah, like you are it's not chance. Like, listen, man, it's very possible that, you're going to die and you're going to move forward, and, you're going to be like, I should have converted to Islam. Like, God, man, I missed it. You know what I mean? But you didn't, because your family's all Christian, and so, okay. So it's like, you missed the boat. Going to have to get reborn and come back around,
One thing to add off of that, though, is I don't think that while, like where you grow up in your family and what you learn throughout your childhood obviously makes you the person that you are, I don't think that that should also be an excuse. While it's a way that you get to your thinking, I don't always think that just because you grow up in a conservative family, you have to be conservative, that you can't,
No,
form your own opinions,
No, listen, for example.
The point of this debate is to figure out what is right and wrong. Yes, people come in with their own biases, but the point of this is theoretically to figure that out.
Listen, I will tell you something. So for the students who lean liberal, the idea is like, you better figure out some of the stuff that Donald Trump is supporting in this country that is good for this country. And if you don't have anything, if you can't come up with something, you don't have anything, man, that's like studying biology for a whole semester and not even knowing the difference between an atom and a cell. An atom and a cell. Wait, what's that? You know what I mean? Or studying English and not knowing the difference between a verb and a noun. It's like, you better figure it out, because that's what it is. And so, hey, by the way, I want to pause a second. Does somebody else have just something, just forget this whole conversation that we're doing. Does someone else want to raise their hand and give us something that I should not talk about in this classroom? I absolutely should not. Do you have something? Besides my sex life, if my wife isn't here.
Yeah.
All right.
I think kind of similarly to the immigration topic, just saying all police are bad and we should defund the police. It's one of those very black and white
Okay,
issues
yeah,
that people
exactly.
tend to push towards one political group.
That's all the military is bad. All the police are bad. All ACAB, all cops are bastards, right? You ever see that? ACAB? Anybody parents are police officers? Anyone whose parents are police officers? One? Imagine you see someone with an ACAB hat, all cops are bastards, and I'm like, first off, how would you wear that? And secondly, who are you going to call when someone breaks into your house? You going to call your Uncle Joe? You going to call your liberal friends and be like, hey, can you bring some weed and some beer over here for these guys? They got guns pointed at my head and I don't really know what to do. Don't call the police because they're all bastards. Wait, is that unfiltered? Wait, is that off the hook? Was that too unfiltered? Can I make that joke? Dude, was that unfiltered? I'm good? I'm all right? Wait, hang on though, before we go there. Can somebody tell me something we can't talk about in this classroom? Don't bring up this some topic. Just don't bring it up. Is there anything? You got one, bro? Conspiracy theories. Okay, don't bring up conspiracy theories. Yeah, it's hard because okay, so don't do that. Okay, cool. Even though I have a couple conspiracy theories I'd like to crank out, but who did kill Epstein, by the way? All right. Does somebody else have one? Wait. Does someone else have something I can't? Dude, Sam, don't talk about this topic. See, you all anybody got anything? Dude, in the front row. Yeah, can you give him a mic? Thanks.
Anything that's not sociology related.
Wait, hold it close. Yeah.
Please
hold
don't
the
talk
mic really close.
Really close?
Yeah.
I feel like we're talking about a lot of things that we can talk about because this is a sociology course. How about we talk about something that we can't talk about and something that you're not able to teach, such as a topic like physics or math.
Okay, how about this? How about climate change?
You can talk about that.
How can I talk about that? That's like, I'm a sociologist, man.
It's an observation.
Well, it's an observation built on science, though. It's like, can I do climate change? Dude, the guy in the yellow right there, he like his hand went up really fast. Huh. Okay. So stick with sociology. Okay, so stick with sociology is what I'm hearing. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Tej, yeah. Tej, make sure you turn it on when you hand it to people. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I'm Aaron, and I kind of wanted to touch upon the topic of conspiracy theories. I feel like that kind of relates back to like opinions, because some people might define certain conspiracy theories as like fact, while others might say it's false. So you might have someone who's a conservative who says, well, climate change is a conspiracy theory. So who says that we can talk about climate change, and like who says we can't? It's kind of nuanced. It's kind of a little too nuanced.
Okay, I got you. All right, thanks for reopening that door for me. All right, we'll do a class on climate change. Even me saying climate change is a problem for some people. What do you mean climate change? The climate's not changing. Like, what are you talking about? Bro, can you? Yeah, go ahead, man.
Where do I talk? Like, turn around. It's right there. Oh, okay. Hello? Oh. My name's Owen, and I feel like this is not really a topic, more of like a guideline. I don't think we should treat like any type of hatred, like racism, sexism, any bigotry, as an opinion, because it's not. It's a viewpoint, and it's wrong.
Wait, I got you. Hang on. Wait, hang on. Blacken it for 1 second. Wait, say that again, bro.
I don't think we should treat any type of hatred as an opinion, because it's, I mean, it is, but it's wrong.
But then what's hatred? Like, what's hatred, right?
Like, with this specifically, what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about like, oh, I hate this guy because he killed my dad. That's different. I'm talking about like unsolicited hatred.
Here, let me give you an example. So a number of years ago, there was a campaign called Stop Asian Hate, because under COVID, so many people of East Asian ancestry were getting attacked. So everybody kept talking about attacks, the hate, the attacks on Asians, and then the stories they told were stories where people, got beat up or something like that. Stop Asian hate, and it was all over the news, right? And then I started investigating, and what I found was that, like, well, 94% of the hate directed at Asians was just people like calling someone a name. And I'm like, wait, hang on a second. I started asking people, everyone thinks that hate is people getting beat up. Like, Asians are getting beat up all over the place. I knew people of Asian ancestry who were afraid to leave their homes because they didn't want to get attacked. And yet, the vast majority was like just people calling someone a name. I'm like, so when you say hate, I'm like, wait, hang on a second. Is that hate? Like, I mean, it is hate, but it's like, is it really hate? You know what I mean? Is that hate? It's like if you could call the name, you're like, oh, hey, I experienced a hate crime at Penn State or whatever. It's like, I don't know, it's a question, so you see what I mean? Even there, it's like, shit.
It depends on what you're calling them. Are you calling them? And it's also it's defined. Hatred's defined by the society around you. You're not gonna really get a satisfying answer because it's defined sociologically.
No, but it's you define it the way you want. If I want to define it, if I think I can get people to be like, oh, hate, it means you're beating people up. And I think I can get you to do that, and I keep saying hate. Knowing that that's what you're thinking, that's pretty uncool, man. When in fact it's like, okay, you're yelling at somebody. Which I'm not saying people of Asian ancestry, it should be okay to yell and name call people of Asian ancestry. Bro, I'm not saying that. You're all good. Right? It's just like, let's be fair to this. All right, wait, do we have something from the stream? Gerald from New York City says, man, it takes so. Sam, how do you personally define the boundary between holding someone accountable and silencing them unfairly? Oh, man. I have a really, Gerald, I have a really difficult time with that. I try to be as fair as I possibly can at all moments with giving people the ability to speak. But the problem is in this class, you see like the three of you all are up here, right? We have to run a class. So it's like, I can't let you just say anything you want. That's a really good question, Gerald. You got another question? We don't have another one? All right, man. All right, go ahead. Wait, you know what? All right. Okay, listen, why don't we do this? We're going to do the quiz because we got to get out of here. So can we have a round of applause for our three? Right.